I'm playing AVA for 5 years now, and I'm playing video games since I'm really young. My favorite game was Pokemon, actually.
Of course,
Really
who
enjoyed
doesn't?
it. I started playing video games on computer when I was like 14 years old, with Counter-Strike 1.6, with just some friends, just randomly playing. I was pretty bad, just having some fun. And one day, like, my brother went to my room and said, I have a new game. I want to try it. You should try it out and stuff. And it was A.V.A. And I just like tried it, and I must say, yeah, this is shit. I'm not gonna play this game.
Yeah, for sure.
But like,
But you kept up with the game. You said you started in 2010. So 2010 to 2012, you got into Astonish. How did you go from being a pub star to on a team like Astonish?
well, so yeah, actually, after I said that to my brother, I just loved the game and I just kept playing. Yeah, I started to play with some random Frenchies, and then I just got recruited by a French team who was not that bad at that moment, in the random teams, let's say. Um, and yeah, I played good, and I met a French guy who was playing with Astonish, actually. His name was Europhile. He's not playing anymore, and maybe he's not that known. But yeah, I started playing with him, and then he was playing with Jimmy Porno. In Astonish they were Super Furry, which was all name was Lisak, and at Tryhard. So we just play all together. They tried out me, and that went pretty good. Even if my English was just horrible, I was not able to say a single sentence in English properly at that moment. But that's how it came. Actually, just play with a friend who he was speaking Dutch, so he was playing with Dutch people, and he just say, "Yes, this guy Ciboulette is good. We should try it out," and it worked that way.
Well, that's good. So from there, you were on Astonish and everything. What was that lineup on Astonish? Exactly, like all the four other players?
So at the beginning, it was, yeah, Europhile, Lisek, Timmy Porno, at Tryhard, and me. At the very, very beginning, then Europhile didn't stay that long. We recruited R from Sweden, and then that was the lineup at that time. It was pretty nice, actually. I really enjoyed playing with these guys. And we played with a two guy. I don't remember his name. It was Polos. I don't.
Yeah.
Uh, I played with also. It was pretty much six players. Lowly Sack team, each Tryhards, R, Polos, and me. That played together during like couple of months.
Yeah.
Um,
So with that Astonish team, you played a couple ESL tournaments. Back then there were still the CGO events or whatever. You played in one of them. You took first. You beat out like Wild Play and Curse, like top NA team, top EU team at the time. Well, Wild Play kind of depends, but I don't know. You just came out of nowhere and just started winning these cups all of a sudden. Were you guys surprised by that? Like, did you guys know you were that good?
well, I remember the first tournaments I played with this team. It was maybe yeah, it was the first time I was playing a game competitively, like really competitively on the official stage. Um, I was really impressed, and I was really stressing every single game, every single round. Like I couldn't aim properly. It was, yeah, but it went time at time, and yeah, we started doing good, and actually we were like, okay, we're not that bad, and we can do good things. But yeah, for me it was unexpected, at least because it was my first competitive experience.
Yeah.
But I know, like, for example, Timmy Porno already played with some teams with Mr. Gold and other stuff, and they were doing like some good stuff before. So for them, it was maybe not so new, but yeah, for me, it was really new, and I was really happy to do that.
Yeah, well, Astonish pretty much came onto the scene when it was the transition from NA teams being pretty good to just EU teams are the only thing that are good in this game anymore.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's pretty much where I mark it. It's 2012. But Astonish didn't really last that long. It was only a year, and then you kind of like vanished into this Caprice team or something. I actually don't remember this Caprice team at all. Do you want to give me some info on it?
Yeah, it was in 2013. Actually, it started after the ISF, where Sweden and Finland were together in 2000. I don't remember which one. Um, and no, I'm wrong. It was before. No, it was before. Actually, it was Letu and Tapi who wanted to do a team together with Dirty Bugger.
Yep.
That was in 2012 in the end, like October, November or something. And they asked me to come because Dirty Burger knew me. He's from Belgium and I'm from France. It's quite close. I mean, so we were just friends on the game. And he told them like, yeah, you should try Sip. He's playing good and stuff. So I just went with them, and Johnny, which was a old Spanish player,
Yep.
came with us as well. Um, and I don't know, like we played like during 3 months, and then there were the AIC 2013 qualification in January.
Yep.
So it was on at that day it was on 2 weeks. First week was like European qualification and NA qualification separated. We were just hoping to not be on the Kraken side. I remember because there were no loser bracket at that time.
Yeah.
And so on our side, we faced the second best Europe team, which was composed of Xelk, the Reaper, and some good players like
Probably
this.
Gravity too in there as well.
Yeah, and we actually won them. So that was just pretty awesome. I was just like, and we qualified for the second week because the second week it was only the two best Europe and two best NA team who were qualifying for it. And we qualified, and we had to play against DEFCON in the semi-final of the playoff, while Kraken had to play against Blast. And I remember that when we played DEFCON and fucking won against them, I think it was like the best day of my life. I was just shaking so hard. I mean, I know DEFCON was not at its best time because they already stopped playing at that time, but still, I mean, nobody expected us to even go to the playoff, and at the playoff we managed to beat DEFCON, which was really amazing. And I remember that right after the win, I was still shaking, and we had to play against Kraken for the final, and I was like not really allowed to play it. And I don't know, at that time Kraken was really above, on top of every other team. We got crushed, but I think we could have done better because, yeah, as I said, like we just beat DEFCON. I was shaking and I was not ready in my
No, of
mind to
course, yeah.
play brackets, and we lost. I don't think we would have won anyway, but we could have done way better if we were like if we had just some time to realize that we were in final to go to Japan, you know. But still, for me, I mean, it was my first LAN qualification try, and I went to final by beating the second best Europe team and the second best NA team. I was just so happy with my experience.
Yeah, so what happened with Caprice then? Because AIC 2013 qualifiers ended, you guys weren't in that, didn't qualify for it, I mean. Celsia came about in 2013 as well, but
Yeah.
the only other thing in 2013 was the ISF qualifier. So how did you go from Caprice to Celsia and then have to play on these different teams for ISF?
Well, so after that, we were really happy about our performance. So we kept playing together during like 2 months, I would say, until March 2013. And then I think Johnny stopped playing because he had some personal problem, so he just stopped playing. So we were only four, and I don't know, it just went like we didn't wanted to play anymore a lot together.
Yep.
And at the same time, the ICC, which was ECC at that time,
Yeah.
was everyone was talking about it and stuff. It was the first time, I think. Yeah,
Yep.
I think it was the first time it was existing, and so we were all talking about it like, oh, let's do this stuff. So we just pleaded, and Letu and Tapi wanted to focus a lot on their national team for
Yeah.
ISF. So they just went with their team, and we just left. I just left actually. And in like April 2013, I already played with Timmy Porno, so we were friends on game, and I was like, yeah, maybe we should do something together again and stuff. And I had Dolly Prain. It was not his name at the time. It was Aokiji or something,
Yeah.
or HSQ. He had many of names. And we were like also with Timmy. I was like, yeah, I have French friends who is pretty good. We could play together. And then we met Zarsky,
Yeah, that's
a
our
Polish
same. Yeah.
player, and we had a lot of fun with him, and he was good. So we was like, yeah, let's do together. And I just kept stay with Dirty Burger, which was in Caprice with me before. So we just stayed all together, and let's make a team. And on the first tournament we played on June Cup 2013,
Hmm.
um, we actually beat at that time. There were like two Tom T's, which was Crackhead still,
Yeah.
and Reeves with R, Kroon, a Triard, Riving.
Back when Reeves was actually good. Yeah.
They were pretty good in AP, and they had win against Crackers like 2 months before on the tournament. It was maybe the first time Crackers were losing on
Yeah,
the
I remember
final or
that.
something. And we had to play them in semifinal, and we just crushed them like 7-2 or 7-3 or something. I remember it, and I was so happy because it was our first experience together. At that moment, I was just pushing super hard, always with my opponent, and surprising people who were not used to that fast gameplay, and it was
Yeah.
just worked super nice at that time. And we just won them, and then we lost to Crackheads in winner bracket final, but we felt that we were doing quite good. And after that, we just won again in loser bracket final, and went on the grand final, and we actually won the first map against Crackheads on Hammer Bro, which was our main map after that actually.
Yeah.
On a pretty convincing game, I think, because I think we won at that time it was first to six on both offense and defense. I think we won the offense like 6-3 or something, so it was pretty amazing on Hammer. And then we won easily the defense after that. And second map was India. We won 6-5 the defense, and but then we got crushed in offense 6-0. So we lost the tournament, but for
Yeah.
our first parents together, it was just awesome because we haven't won the map on Krakens.
Yeah, so would you say that 2012 or 2013 was the real start of where it was like you versus these Swedish players all the time in the grand finals? Like almost every ESL Cup since then or qualifier since 2013 or 2012 has been you on a certain team versus like Kimpa, Quelly, or these people. Did that start 2013 for you, or did you like pick up on that in 2012?
Um, you mean was I already playing competitive in 2012?
No, like whenever we look at grand finals, it's for like the last year. It's been Celsia versus whatever their team is,
Yeah.
Andromeda right now, right? It's always been that way for 2015. It was kind of that way for 2014 a little bit, but it's always been that same 10 players going at it in the grand finals for like the last two, maybe 3 years. Did that start in 2013 or 2012? Do you think?
I would say 2013 because before I was finishing always top three. I would say I was always finishing third with Astonish. We were finishing third always with Celsia at the beginning. We were finishing sometimes second, but most likely third. So I would say it started like in like September 2013 or something after the IF 2013.
Yeah. And that ISF 2013, did it force people to leave your team, or was your team just didn't compete in that ISF thing?
Well, actually, we said, okay, guys, so there is ISF, and that was the first year. I think like all the teams, all the European could participate. Like
Yeah,
the year before, for example, it was Israel and Belgium who came, but for example, Sweden or Finland or any good teams didn't participate. It was just so
yeah, it was a
random.
mess.
Yeah, and it was the first time everyone who could participate, and all of us could actually, except Zarski who couldn't with Poland, but I could with France, team could with Netherlands, and Dirty Burger with Belgium. So we just said, okay, let's make a break for ISF, and we'll group together again after. Um, yeah, that's it. I mean, we just played together for the ISF.
Yeah, so with that, I think Finland win. It was Vitsi, Vemo, Letu, Tappy, and Fake.
Yeah.
Uh, how friendly were you with like Vitsi and Letu at the time?
Um, well, I knew already Letu and Tapi because I
Yeah,
played with
yeah,
Caprice them. I didn't know much more about the others. Um, but I remember we were pretty okay with France against them because they had some really accurate tactics. Like Letu made like really big tactics with this team, and they were just focusing on always doing the same stuff and to do it as good as possible. And we were good to counter them with France because we were doing really unexpected things that
yeah,
was just fucking up their tactics. And then they didn't really know what to do, but it was pretty well against them.
yeah. So then from I guess ISF from 2013, it goes all the way up to AIC 2014 for that qualifier. So you were on the Celsia team, and then you became Jack in the Box, and then you became Penta. Uh, how did Jack in the Box? What was up with that? Like, who was on that team? Was it Kroon and
Yeah, it
Gravity? I
was
think
Kroon,
Epi.
AP,
Yeah.
Gravity, Dirty Burger, and me, Beat PP. Well, actually, before that, I was supposed to play with Leto and Tapi in Semper Fidelity.
Yeah.
Like after ISF, they asked me to join them because they liked to play with me in IAC 2013, so they wanted me again for that year. And we joined them with Doriprain. So the team was Leto, Vitsi, Tapi, Doriprain, and me actually.
Hmm.
But then they didn't wanted to play with Doriprain again anymore because they didn't like his way of playing. And so I left as well because I wanted to play with him since it was my best friend in the game. And after that, we just played again together with Celsia, like some games or some tournaments I was playing with friends. I mean, I didn't have a fixed team during 6 months or something.
Yeah.
And in like April, we learned that there were the AIC qualification in June, and I was just like, I mean, no, we knew it before, but I don't know. In April, like BPP just sent me a message and like, yeah, we're gonna make a team with Kroon, Gravity, and me. Do you wanna join? And I was like, yeah, let's go. I mean,
You
well,
hadn't played with Gravity or Kroon at that time yet, but you probably knew who
oh,
Kroon was at the time,
sure.
right?
Yeah, and I already played against Kroon a few times. I knew Gravity as a whole player, but I never played against or with him before. But I was really excited with the idea because yeah, Kroon was really impressive at that moment. So I was really like, I think we have a chance to do that, even if at that time like Stamper Fidelity and Crackers were really on top of everyone. But I knew there were two slots, and I mean, there is always a way to do something.
Hmm.
And so I just joined them, and then we were looking for our five, and we picked AP.
Yeah.
I wanted to keep playing with Dori Prime, but he has some issue that he couldn't participate, so I just left him for them. And yeah, so AP joined us, and we just started practicing like 2 months before the cup.
Of course, the typical AVA way. Um, but that qualifier for AIC 2014, you actually played Summer Fidelity second, well, not second round. You played them in the semifinals, and you lost to them, but you still qualified to the playoff qualifier. Did you expect to lose? Like, what did you think heading into that match against Summer Fidelity in the first EU qualifier?
Well, actually, I think we won a map on that game against them. I think on India we won like 7-4 or 7-5 or something.
Yeah.
I remember that. And then we lost like the first and the third map or something against them. They were pretty good at that time, and it was not our first tournament, but I think it was the third one or something.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, when we lost, and before the tournament actually,
Here we go.
just before the tournament, their team was actually Taz, Zitor, Letu, Vitsi, and Vaimo.
Yep.
Uh, yeah, that's it. And just like two weeks or 3 weeks before the cup, Vaimo didn't give any more news about him, like he disappeared or something.
Yeah. Okay.
They were on four, and Letu asked me to join them back actually.
Yep.
It was really interesting because I knew they were practicing for 6 months together. They were finishing always second of every cups behind Crackhead, so that was the best chance for me to go to the trip. But since I already said before to Gravity that I would join him no matter what, I wanted to keep my word, and I said no, I'm not joining you guys, and that's why they took Tapi at the end because yeah, Tapi was in Jack in the Box at the
Yeah.
beginning,
Hmm.
but he left for Penta because for Sefi because I said no to Sefi. Okay,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
some random stuff, whatever. And yeah, so we lost against them the first day in semifinal, and I was like, yeah, these guys are stronger than us. We're not gonna win this shit.
yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
was not.
pretty a moral defeat to not pick the team that
Yeah.
beats you in the first qualifier. But
And we know to beat them at the end anyway if we wanted to go. So
yeah, well, it didn't seem to matter because come the next weekend, you guys were in the playoff qualifier. It's where I think four NA teams, four EU teams came together, I believe.
yeah,
You
yeah,
guys started. Where did you start? You started in the same bracket side as Summer Fidelity, the team that
yeah.
knocked you out in the EU qualifier. You have to play them in the semis again.
Yeah.
And then you lost to them again.
Yeah, 2-0. We got wrecked, I remember. And after we lost that, I was really feeling like we're not gonna do anything in this tournament. Like this is lost. Like I think we were like we had like 3 or 4 games in loser bracket to play.
Yeah.
Three, I think. And I was like, yeah, it's not gonna work. And we played Artifacts. The first game, I think I
Yeah, you
remember.
did.
Okay. The first game I remember it was on EU, and we won like 7-6 on Hammer, and it was so hard. And I was like, what the fuck? We win only 7-6 on EU. We're gonna get wrecked.
Mm-hmm.
And the second map we get wrecked. I don't remember the map, and I know we were getting wrecked against them on NA. And then the third map was first to four, I think. First to
Yeah.
four on both halves, on both NA and EU. And we lost like 4-2 on Canon defense on their side. And then we won 4-1. It was like super
Wow.
close. One run close, and we were kicked out of the tournament. And I was really like, if we have so much trouble against these guys, even if they were the best NA team at that time, I think. I mean,
Yeah, they were.
they were.
And they were the
Uh,
best team on Canon at the time too. So being down 4-2 and coming back and beating them on that map is pretty impressive as well.
Yeah, and I was like, if we have so much trouble again, then we're not gonna do it.
Yeah, but then you beat them, and then you beat Please. You basically were pretty much the NA killer in that tournament because you went to the loser
Yeah,
bracket early, and then you took out two of the NA teams. So that was fun. You took out Please. I think you 2-0'd them pretty easily, but then you had to face Semper Fidelity in the loser bracket finals, and top two teams go to the LAN. So you had to win this. This was like your final challenge for the second time, and you guys actually were able to do it. I think you won 2-0.
against who?
Summer Fidelity in Summer Fidelity in the loser bracket finals of the AIC qualifier. It was a best
No,
of
it was so
five.
close. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I remember now.
that was the closest game of our life. Actually, yeah, I remember like after we won Please, which was actually it was close as well because I think we got wrecked the first map like 7-0 on Hammer or 7-1. We
Yeah,
got completely wrecked. Then we won on Canon 7-5 and we won on dual site on both halves. That was okay. I mean, but then I was like, okay, no, we are again like a super close game. We have to play some Fidelity. But we were like, okay, guys, this is the game. If we win, we fucking go to Taiwan. If we lose, we're just kicked out. So let's just give our best and show that we're not here for nothing. And I think actually carried super hard the first game on Black Sands.
yeah, I
We
think you
won
did.
like 7-3, and I pretty much did all the decisive moves that gave us so many important rounds. And I remember I was not stressing at all. I mean, it was already 1 or 2 a.m. and I was just like, yeah, I'm just playing. I want to win, and I was just not stressing at all. And I know that I think some members of my team were maybe afraid or thinking that we're not gonna do it
Well,
anyway.
well,
And
look at the players on your team though. You had Gravity Croon, the two most passive scopes I
yeah,
think I've ever played this game, and you have Prebin, who is also a pretty passive rifler at times. So I think you had to be that person that had to charge in first or something.
yeah, but I mean, before the game, even if we were focusing super hard on the game, we were like, it's gonna be really hard because we are always losing to them.
Yeah,
And I think I won like 2 times 1v2 or something, and I did some decisive kills and stuff. And I finished the map like I did 14 to 5 or something, like a super nice score.
yeah.
And then after that game, everyone was like, "What the fuck? We won the first game. We can't do it." Like I think it gave to everyone the spirit of winning the shit, you know. But still, we lost the two next game. After that, we lost on India and Canon, like 7-5 and 7-4. But we weren't feeling like we're gonna lose anyway. Like we were still confident and still focusing on our game. We're like, we can still do it. I mean, they're not that strong compared to us. And we were not feeling down at all. And here came the fourth map on airplane, where we were pretty much losing at the beginning. And I remember AP doing an amazing clutch in 2 against Tapi. I remember
Yeah, yeah,
pretty big headshot when he was 1 HP. And then Kroon carried so hard the game. Like
yeah.
Kroon really did it on airplane. It was like he played out some scope there, some really trick shots. And we finished the map with 7-6. I remember it was 6-6, and Letu did horrible mistake, like pushing us at 2. I don't know why it did that, but then we were 5-4 and we pushed all together and it just worked. I mean, that was awesome. And then it was the last map, and after winning the one before, we were just so motivated and so focused on winning. And I think we started leading on dual site like 5-2,
Mm-hmm.
and then they came back to 5-5. Then it was
Oh,
6-5.
that was disgusting that it came back to 5-5. You guys had that. I don't even know how you let that
Yeah,
happen.
and some some mistakes on our part and some good plays on their part just make it that it came back to 5-5, then 6-5,
And
then
six
6-6.
six.
I remember on 6-6, nobody was talking on TeamSpeak. Like we were just focused on the game and
Oh, and Kroon died like really early on in that last round as well. He like died
not
in the first 20 seconds, didn't he?
actually no, actually I
Or was that the
think
previous round?
no, that was that one. But the kills
Oh,
started like the kills started like after 1 minute or 1 minute and
yeah.
30, like nobody happens before. And I remember I was on bridge and I see Kroon and BPP just both dying in
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah. They both
one by
died.
late two inside, and we were 3v5, and I was like, okay, I have to do something. Like we have to, and I just like jumped on the bridge, ran on top of one, and I don't know why, but Tati who was covering top one was not watching me. Like I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
And I just kicked him out of the game. I don't know if I mean nobody was covering top one from bridge. And he didn't even hear me or something when I jumped from bridge because you
mm-hmm.
obviously heard. Maybe he was under pressure or something. But I killed him. That gave us the whole top one protection because nobody was on top one except me. So I had the cover of the dark room.
Yep.
And then I see Gravity killing Letu after he got his 2 kills, and AP throwing a flash nade in the window of one and getting Taz inside one.
Perfect
And
nade.
then we were 3v2. And I remember that I was near the dark room, and I heard the bridge noise, but the way that it means you fall down, because if you fall
Yeah,
down
yeah,
off the
yeah.
bridge,
Mm-hmm.
you can see the noise. And I was like, Gravity was going to plant, and I knew the guy would go DD, and I was like, Gravity behind you, and I was just
Yeah.
running to help him. The time I arrived, he already killed him, and then we were 3v1, and I was like, we're not gonna lose this. This is for me. And then I see AP killing Zator, and I just screamed so hard.
Yeah.
I remember it was 3 a.m. in the morning, and my neighbors phoned to me like, what the fuck is? Why I was screaming? They wanted to call the police and stuff. And my parents were like, "Why are you screaming?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to Taiwan. I won the qualification." Though it was so crazy, man.
Yeah,
It
and
was,
that was your first qualification, right?
yeah, the
Yeah.
best memory
Yeah.
I ever had of a qualification.
I think that's the best like match I've ever casted, just because it was like so back and forth. It went to that fifth map, and it was like 5-5, 6-5, 6-6. That was just
Yeah.
it was just crazy. But yeah,
Mhm.
um, but then from there, you guys qualified for it with Crackheads. So Crackheads, the veteran team. Most of the players have gone twice. I think Kemp had gone 3 times at that point. You guys were like the
Yeah.
fresh team there. What was Crackheads like in being in Taiwan there with you guys? Like, we're like, oh, you guys aren't going to win anything against these Asian guys because you have no experience. Like, what were they like when you first met them there?
No, I mean, I remember when I arrived, I was late because my plane, and I was with PPP in my plane, and our plane was like the last one to go. Like everyone arrived in the morning, and we arrived like at 5 p.m. or something in Taiwan. So we arrived, everyone was already there for a meeting for the tournament, and crackers were like hello, and they were so nice to us, and I was just so happy to meet them because at that time they were like the legend of A.V.A at that time. So for
Yeah,
me, it
yeah,
was oh, meeting Greg and stuff, it was awesome. And of course, meeting my friends of my team, it was awesome. I mean, and no, they were just like talking friendly with us, just chilling, and it was just normal time. We didn't really talk about, yeah, you're gonna get wrecked or something. They didn't consider us as worse team than them or something. No, there were
mm-hmm.
nothing about that, and it was just friendly and
Yeah.
nice.
So you go from playing this European AVA scene where it's all online, you never get to see anyone, you never play LANs. You go to Asia, or Taiwan, I should say,
Yeah.
and they have a stage, they have actual casters, they have media there, they have coverage of everything. These teams have like these jerseys, these sponsors on them, and you guys just have these little T-shirts, I think. And what do you think about that contrast between the two scenes? Like, did that surprise you?
Well, yeah, I was already happy with our Penta t-shirts actually, or nothing special, but yeah, well. like when I arrived from the plane, like a super car took us from the airport to the place where like the Garena place.
Hmm.
Um, and the meeting was already started, and there were all the teams, all the managers of the teams, everyone, everything organized, and we arrived and we were like, oh, you want some food, some drink? We can order for you. Like we were like superstars. And I was like, oh, and
Yeah.
yeah, everything was super well organized. All the teams were at all their t-shirts, like real pro teams and stuff, and they were all super focused. And yeah, I mean that was so different from us, completely different, and it's so much better. I mean, if it was like this for us, it would be awesome. I would play AVA like all day, all night.
Yeah, for sure. So that's pretty much how it was, the atmosphere there. But actual performance, let's get to the results of actually what happened. You guys tied for sixth place with Crackheads and First Esports. Got knocked out in the first group stage. Was
Yeah.
that like a big shock to you guys, or did you think that you could go like maybe to the second group stage?
Well, I think we had to go to the second stage. Actually, we've been really lucky with the group pick. We were with the two easiest teams of the
Yeah,
tournament. They were really the two worst team of the tournament with us, I think. And
GFM and CGA, I
yeah,
think.
and Seagulls. It was like, yeah, I mean, first map against GFM, who had already won against Seagulls at that time because they
Yep.
played together against each other before. And the first game we just got wrecked. I mean, it was the first game of a LAN, That was like,
Yeah,
okay.
of course.
The second game we lost 7-6, and with some mistakes and stuff. Like we should have won that map. I don't know how we didn't win it, and it went pretty bad while we really dominated them on there. And then against Seagulls, I think we lost both map 7-5. And knowing it, there were Fox Hunting in one of the maps, and at that time Fox Hunting was like the map nobody plays on
Yeah.
EU. Like I remember, like the last 3 years before that, every time there were a ban or something, everyone was banning Fox Hunting. It was just, why is this map still in the map pool? Like nobody plays it. So for us, it was really hard to play it, but yeah, we lost both map 7-5 and 7-4. It was like Fox and Airplane, the two map nobody plays at our stage. So yeah.
Well, of course, Fox Hunting Airplane. Like at that time, that was the two most common maps that Asia played. Like I think in the last year, Japan and Korea had played 4 times on land against each other in that year, and those were
Yeah,
the maps that were played in the best of fives that they did. So you guys pretty much had a pretty big wall to climb there.
yeah. It was, I mean, and yeah, we could have won and we should have won, I think, but well, we didn't, and I was a bit disappointed, of course, because I knew there were a chance to do something better. But still, I was okay because it was for me, it was already an
Yeah.
incredible experience to go to Taiwan to meet my friends I'm playing with and just have an awesome trip to play with my friends.
Yeah, were you a little sad that you didn't get to play like the Korean or Japanese team? Because I think at that time we were all like, "Oh, Koreans and Japanese teams are the best."
Yeah,
Were you sad about that? Even though,
actually, um, I wasn't that at all because yeah, we didn't play them in the tournament, but we practiced against them a lot
yeah,
before and after our lose. Like we played against them in a Subway Coffee or even the Garena building. So I was already happy about it. I remember sitting behind Shaka, the scope of detonator, just seeing playing like just sitting 1 minute behind him. I was like, "What the fuck? This game is awesome." Yeah, it was so nice. So many good memories.
all right. Well, I think AHQ ended up winning that. I think it was a complete shock that a Taiwanese team actually won the whole thing. I think that was the first time they've ever beat Korea or Japan. I'm not
Uh,
sure on that.
No, the
No?
the AC 2013 AHQ won it against Detonator in final as
Yep,
well
yep.
when Crackers went to Japan. Yeah, that
Oh,
was the
okay, okay.
that was the second time in a row that AHQ won.
All right. Well, that was the start of their dynasty there. But so I don't know. AIC 2014 final. I mean, that pretty much closes the chapter on the year, I think, because after that you left Penta. And
Well,
I don't know what else you did with Celsius that year. Oh, there was the
actually,
2014 ISF
actual,
qualifier.
act, yeah, actually no, but actually, after no, because there were no more ISF for AVA after the Sweden
No,
and Finland trip.
it was the IEF, not
Yeah,
IESF.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the trip for Taiwan was like in the end of July,
Mm-hmm.
and we like the qualification for IEF was like at the beginning of September, like one
Yep.
month and a half just after. So it was like super crazy, and we knew there were only one slot, and actually we wanted at the beginning, there was some discussion about keep doing it with Penta, knowing there were Crackheads and Semper Fidelity who were probably better than us, and it would be really hard to beat both of them to go to IF and stuff. And at the same time, Kimpa wanted to stop Crackheads to play with his Swedish friends. So there were so many problems between all the teams, and everyone was like, where should I go? What should I do? It was crazy. And at the end, I mean, Kimpa took Taz, Zitor, Quelly, and
Surreal?
yeah, but it was not Cyril at the beginning. It was Taz.
Surreal was one of the players that went. I don't know if he played in the qualifier with him.
Yeah, he played, but at the beginning it was not the purpose. I mean,
Oh,
they didn't want room. Like there were four,
oh,
and
right.
another team was supposed to be Cyphers, Kroon, Gravity, AP, and me. Sorry.
That's okay.
And but it didn't work out. I mean, everyone was like, I don't know what to do and stuff. And Litu and Viti got actually kicked from C5. I mean, they were playing with Taz and Zitor at that time, but Kimpa asked Zitor and Taz who joined him. So Litu and Viti were like without any team. And with Dory Prime, we were like, and Timmy Porno, we were just went together again for as the Celsia team. But Dichi Burger and Darsky were not playing anymore at that time, so we're just all three. And we asked Letu to join us because we knew he was very good at that time. So he joined us. We were four, and at the end we took like Vitsi.
Mm-hmm.
Came back from holidays and stuff. I mean, he came back like 2 weeks before the IF qualification, and we were five. We played the August tournament, ESL. We did pretty good actually. I think we lost like to actually A.V.A, which was Kimpa team, like 7-6 or something. I mean, it was super. And after that, Dori Prane again like couldn't play for some personal issue, and Kroon had left the Penta Sport team that they wanted to do with Cyphers and stuff. So Gravity was like, okay, I'm just stopping this team. I'm not doing it anymore. Fuck it. So Cyphers was free, and we asked him to join us since Dolly Digipran left. So the team was made like 2 weeks before, and Kroon joined A.V.A. So it was Cyphers, Timmy Porno, Letu, Vitsi, and me. And on the other side it was Kimpa, Taz, Zitor,
Quali and Surreal.
Monkey and Syria. Yeah, Monkey and Kroon.
Did Mankey play or was he a sub or
Yeah,
was Quali the sub? I
no,
can't remember.
Quali was
Right,
the
yeah.
sub. Yeah, Monkey play, yeah. So yeah, that was around that actually. So we played the qualifier
Yep.
on a pretty convincing way. I think that was the first time I was really feeling that I was just on top of everyone, just wrecking all the teams except Innovari. Like I think that was the first time I was.
You were feeling so good and everything, and then you get to the quarterfinals of this qualifier and you lose to A.V.A 2-0. Think.
Actually, the first day we lost.
Yep.
We actually, I wouldn't say we lost on purpose, but we didn't wanted to show any
Well, it was
tactics.
early, and 4 teams from the qualifier went to the playoff one, so
We really played like YOLO the first day because we didn't wanted to show anything we prepared the 2 weeks before. So I wouldn't say we let them win because they could have won if we have done our tactics, of course, but we didn't wanted to show anything. So that's a main reason why we lost like super easily. Then we qualified pretty easily in loser brackets again.
you went pretty easily through 5 pools in Cydia Ulsta clan as well. Like you just 2-0'd. Those were probably the fastest games I've ever seen. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the second day, I don't remember which team we played.
You played Mono again. You were the NA killer once again.
Monomaniac.
Yeah, you played Monomaniac first. You destroyed them. You played Artifacts. I think you lost one map. I'm not sure. I can't remember.
Well, I don't think so. I think we won everything.
Yeah. That's actually what happened. You went undefeated in this whole qualifier. You only lost one map, I think, to Innover. It was 3-1.
Yeah.
In the grand finals.
You played them in the winner bracket final, I believe. Yeah. And then we were like, at the beginning, we didn't know what to do, showing our tactics or not. I mean, we were like, because if you win the winner bracket, then you have one map advantage. So it's something you cannot ignore.
Yeah.
Um, and I think at that time, like they were super strong on India, and we were super bad against them. I don't know why, but they were just wrecking us up every time. I think we lost like 7-2 or something in winner bracket final on India, and I don't know how, but we were then leading 5-0 on offense on hammer blow, which was pretty crazy. We managed to win, but it was super close, like 7-5 or something. But we won, and then we won the third map. I don't remember which map it was.
Yeah, I
Um,
don't remember either.
but it was pretty close, and we were like super happy because we hadn't shown all of our tactics yet. So for us, it was pretty good to win and get to the grand final that way. Um, and then we faced them in the grand final. Um, and I remember we started on Canon, and Litu was like, yeah, Litu was doing the strats and stuff, and Litu was like, guys, let's just push R2, just throw smoke left side and destroy them. And we just like it was just everything was going perfect. Like if they had one kill, we just had the trade immediately, and we were just taking the spot so fast. I think we did like 3 times in a row pushing two, and it worked like every time. I was just going front line and killing Monkey, who was inside two every time. So we were immediately 5v4 with the spot held. So it was pretty much down on cannon when you have the spot like this. And then there were like 2 or 3 rounds in both offense and defense where Cyphers and Timmy were like 2v4 and won every single round 2v4. It was just some crazy shots and crazy stuff they both did, and we won on convincing 7-2 map on cannon.
Yeah, that was the first time that a team has actually a team that wasn't Innovair or DEFCON that had qualified through a qualifier without dropping any games. Like you stayed in the winner bracket and you qualified. The only other teams at the time had done that were DEFCON and Innovair, so it was a pretty big like milestone in the A.V.A community, I think, at that time.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I
Uh,
was pretty happy about it.
but then you
Uh,
won and you were like, oh, now I get to go to China instead of Taiwan. What do you
yeah,
think
but
about that?
yeah, but we got wrecked on the second map on India. We lost like 7-0 actually.
It's India. You can't win against those guys on that
Yeah,
map.
we lost 7-0. There were with their 2 scopes. It was just impossible for us to win. I don't know why. And then the third map, we were on pretty convincing win on Accent, and I think I played really well. Again, it just remembered me that for AIC Taiwan and both for IF China, I just played amazing on Black Scent. Like,
Yeah.
so it was very nice. And then we won, and I was like super excited. I was not like it was not the best day of my life like Taiwan, but I was still super excited and super happy about it because it was only one team going, and we were that team. Like,
Yeah.
and everyone was like, of course, Kimpa, my love, please win. But no, you're not.
That was actually, I think, the height of Kimpa's popularity in Asia. Actually, he was just absolutely crazy how much they enjoyed Kimpa. But then you guys went and stole their thunder, so good job on that. So yeah, aside from that, you went to the main event. How did you actually perform at IFF? Do you come fourth or something? Because I never got any results from that cup.
Well, yeah, actually, I think no one got any result on that tournament. While I think we did pretty good actually. Um, we were ready for it. We left like 1 week before the tournament to China, and we practiced like every day in Starbucks Coffee. Like we were practicing super hard against the Chinese teams. Um, and when we arrived at the stage, we first played Detonator on Foxenting, which was still not the best map we played at that time, and we lost 7-6. It was like just some crazy stuff. We were all focused, and I was really here to win. Like I wanted to win so hard, and yeah, we lost 7-6 and 7-5, I think, on Canon. So it was some super close game, and we were disappointed to lose, but we were still like, whoa, we are really facing this team and doing good against them.
Yeah.
I mean, whoa, it was crazy.
Well, that's the
And
story of Europe in Asia is that they have these really close games, but they've just consistently lost to them. Like it's 7-5, 7-6 almost every single series that they play. But yeah.
that was the first game. And at that time, actually, since AHQ and Detonator were just dominating the scene for the 2 last years, that was a new Korean team, and nobody was like, "These guys are not gonna do anything." I mean, and we were like, "Yeah, the strongest are Detonator and AHQ." And then we played the Koreans, and that's the one who wrecked us the hardest. I
Yeah.
mean, they were playing so good, and we just got wrecked. But then we played AHQ, and again we lost like super close game, like 7-5. So it was pretty convincing for us.
Yeah.
Uh, but still we were losing. And then the last game was against China, who finished third on the AIC 2014, like 2 months before. The same team who finished third,
Yep.
who won Korea and stuff. I mean, that was pretty well. And we just kicked them off like 7-3 and 7-4 something on airplane and duel. And we were just so happy. Like it was, I
Yeah.
mean, for me, it was the first game I win against Asian team in a LAN. And it means that we weren't that bad actually, because we played quite good against the others and we won China. It was awesome to win them at that time. Yeah.
How many at that time? How many European teams had actually taken a map off of an Asian team? Was it just you guys
Um,
taking a series off of an Asian team? Sorry.
no, Sweden has done it in the ISF 2013, I believe. They won against
They won
uh,
against all the other
in
European
the
and
group, yeah, but in the group stage they
mhm.
won against Korea or Thailand. I don't know which one, but they won against one of them in the group stage, and they won a map during the semi-final against Thailand.
Oh, okay. Wow. So we have quite the good track record over there, don't we?
But we were the first European team to not finish last. I mean, not finish before all the Asians, because Sweden finished third, but there were only two Asian teams, and
Yeah.
they finished behind them. So we were the first European team to not finish last on a stage against Asians.
Yeah. So if you were to compare IFF versus AIC, what was the difference like between being in China, Taiwan, and just the
Uh,
teams that showed up and the competition itself?
it was completely different in the way that IEF was not a tournament only for AVA. It was
Yeah.
League of Legends, Dota 2, StarCraft, and AVA. So it was completely different, and there were like super famous players from League of Legends and stuff that are like really professional players getting a lot of money and stuff. It was really crazy. It was in a stadium actually. Like I remember the
Yeah.
first time it was like there were like thousands of people coming for a concert. They were like the most famous Asian singers. I didn't know them, of course, but they were the most famous Asian singers, yeah, of Asia, who came to sing and stuff. It was just some crazy stuff, and there were only 5 teams, while in AIC there were 9 teams playing for AVA. It was only 5, one from
Hmm.
China, and for enters, AHQ, Detonator, Be Quiet, and Celsia. So it was pretty different, and yeah, the tournament was not only focused on us; it was focused on everything. So it was really different in the way that for AIC we had our own room just to play. I
You
mean,
guys were the
all of our,
stars.
yeah, and we're only us in our room, like on that thing. We were like all the players of all the games were in the same big room, so you were hearing all the guys screaming and stuff near you when you were playing. It was like normal LAN, you know.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? I cannot sound something. It was quite difficult for that. But out of that, it was completely different and still an amazing experience in the way that I just saw a different experience on LAN.
All right. So from there, basically, 2014 was finished. I mean, the typical, AVA died during the winter months and stuff like that. AIC 2015 was announced. Um, Celsia was still around playing a few cups every now and then, but you go from playing in IFF, right? And you had basically you had just like switched the team and then played IFF, right? What were you thinking with Celsia? Were you like, okay, I'm gonna stick with Celsia, we're gonna play this AIC, or did you have other teams that you were considering playing for?
Actually, we played IF with Letu, Vitsi, and Soifes
Yeah.
because Devilit and Coldowner were not 18 at that time, and Doliplan was not has some issues, so he couldn't play. That's the only reason why we weren't not playing with them. Um, and after IEF, even if we had done quite good stuff, Tim and me were like, yeah, we're gonna go back with our friends. What we wanted to do was to practice with our friends, practice super hard, and achieve an improvement and achieve a real thing with our real Celsia team. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So that's why we just came back immediately with David Lit Cordoner and Dory Prain after the IF. So like for 6 months before AIC qualification.
Yeah, it was a pretty big actual roster change, and it allowed all these other little teams to spread out, like Villains and Global. Um, I think Sinister picked up someone from one of these teams that were changing around, but I don't quite remember. But you had all these teams that could potentially beat you, and you had this new lineup like Global, Villain, Sinister. As I said, like, were you afraid of these teams coming into the qualifier, or were you guys confident at the time to beat Andromeda in the winter bracket finals and stuff like that?
Yeah, we were super confident, and for us, nobody could beat us except Andromeda. Yeah, we were completely confident in our capacity to win everyone. Sadly, I mean, uh, IWC already started before the AIC qualification because
Hmm.
like they were the April Cup. But actually, Cordoner was going to be 18 on August 2015, so 2 months ago. So he couldn't participate to AIC qualification. So we had to pick a sub. And Monkey joined us with some, I don't know, somehow he joined us.
Yeah,
Uh,
Mickey's all over the place. That's typical.
it's monkey, it's normal, it's just going
Yeah.
everywhere. Whatever. Yeah, so he joined us and we just played together and we did pretty good actually, and we're really focused on winning this. Sadly, we didn't make it. I mean, while we were always winning in winner brackets final, I don't know,
Hmm.
for AIC we didn't. Um, Even if there was like some cross games and stuff, we didn't win. And then in the grand final against Andromeda, I mean, their main map was Black Sand, and we had prepared some really special stuff for them on Black Sand. Like I think we practiced like Dolly, Brain, and me. We are most likely doing all the tactics, and I think we've been practicing like 3 or 4 hours, just even me doing like a tactic for every round and stuff. It was
Yeah.
just
Well, at the
crazy stuff.
time, they had been like really good on Black Sun. Not as good as they were in India back in like 2013, but they were the team to beat on Black Sun. And you guys like shocked everyone and beat them on that. It was like, oh, are they going to be able to do this? But then Andromeda came back and said no.
Yeah, we did it on like on a pretty fashion way. It was just it's really easy the way we did it. And after the hammer, bro, was like the problem. Like we lost 7-6, and for us it was. I mean, I think our spirit just went super down after that because we were like, if we had to win this, we were 2-1, and
Hmm.
since we lost, it was 2-1 for them, and we had to win the two next games, and we were like, I don't know, we just
Yeah.
our spirit just lost because on the first map on winner bracket final we played them on airplane and we won like 7-2, and
Yep.
after that they wrecked us on grand final. And I mean, I remember the interview you did with them after, and they said like, yeah, we saw how they were playing on the winner bracket, so we knew how to counter them in grand final. I remember they said that, but actually we were just playing super bad because we were not feeling to
Yeah.
play. Like we
I
were just
mean, Andromeda got pretty much rocked on airplane, and it was pretty much a guarantee that you guys should have won airplane, but you didn't. And I don't think it was from Andromeda playing super well. I think it was you guys were like missing these shots, had these really wide angles that you're peeking on Andromeda scopes. It was pretty bad.
and dual side was our main map and it was the last map. So if we had win armor blow, we were like we can focus on dual and get this, you know. But sadly we didn't, and then it just completely failed with airplane.
Yeah, and then they went off and competed at AIC 2015. I think I don't know what they performed there. Can't remember that right now, but it doesn't matter. So anyways, you guys, well, I don't know if this is something that you would agree with, but whenever you play a qualifier, you seem to always have this period where you're going to consider switching to a team or something. That seems to be the pattern for you a little bit. But you guys had AWC in the background of this. Um, what were you guys thinking like with your roster? If you can't be an Andromeda and potentially one team is going to AWC, did you guys consider changing things up in Celsia for this year?
No, and I think that's our strength compared to any other teams. I think we've been the only one who didn't change any player of the lineup during the whole year. Like
Yeah.
we just stayed together to really the whole year, and that was our goal anyway. We were like, if we're going to a trip, we're going together or we're not going. Like there were no way to change, and we got some real problems between the team. There were some issues between players sometimes and stuff. It's like a family, you know. I don't know. You always have problem, but we were always. I was maybe the mediator, let's say, and I was always trying to find solutions so everyone was just being fun again, and we're just focusing on the game and every time it goes well at the end, and that's why we stayed together the whole trip, and we were not going to change any player anyway. I mean, at one time we were thinking about it with Monkey, who was our sub. We were thinking about taking the lineup, but it was more because I wasn't sure to go to Japan because I had some issue in December. But when I knew I was going, then yeah, we were not gonna change anything anyway. But yeah, I mean, I remember the three first tournament we lost to Andromeda after winning the winner bracket final again,
Yeah.
then losing the grand final. I mean, I think it's just like my team, like Cold Honor, Devilit, and Dory Brain, they never had such a competitive and convincing gameplay, like with beating everyone and being close to be the best team of Europe. And so maybe it's harder for them to win. I don't know. They don't know how to win. You know what I mean? I mean,
They're gonna hate you when they watch this interview.
it's okay. They're just
Well, you talk about being the most consistent team. You guys are the most consistent team at placing second, not first. I mean,
yeah.
Andromeda, they have three first places. Of course, the first two are kind of mean less because there was less points. Global, they have two. Global could potentially get a third in this AP7, and then you guys would be the team that only has one. What do you like? What do you think about Andromeda just getting all these wins, Global getting these wins, and Celsius being stuck in second? You guys got one win in the third one, but it's just one.
Actually, I think there is two cups that we should have won. I think the June one, the June Cup. I think we lost to Andromeda mm, we lost like 3-2 in grand final, and
Yeah.
we lost 7-6 and 7-5, like two maps. So it was like super close, and we should have win. I mean, I think this was our tournament. Then we won the July Cup, like super easy. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I think that was our best performance in the year. And the cup after, we just played super bad in grand final against Global, so we didn't deserve to win. But the cup of last week, we should have won it again because I don't know. We did some pretty mistakes we should have never done. And I mean, of course, Global is playing super well, but I think if we had to win some tournaments, we should have won the June Cup and the October Cup. But otherwise, we like to finish second.
If you had just placed first, I think once you would have already been qualified on that last cup.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So how do you feel about that? Just one little placement and you could have already had, I don't know, put your feet up for the next month or so, just getting ready.
Well, I mean, at the beginning, we didn't know if it was going to be one or two slots. There were some,
Yeah.
of course.
I think it was the fourth cup that we figured it out.
Yeah, and before that first cup, we were always finishing second, and Andromeda was starting to have such a big advantage to compare to us, and we were like, we're not gonna do it. I mean, it's done. And in July, Andromeda just fucked up against Global in semifinal, and then fucked up in loser bracket and finished sixth, and
Yeah,
we
that was
won.
so bad for them.
And we just went equal on points. Just it was just crazy for us, you know. And then the announce of two teams was arrived, and we were like, "Whoa! Actually, we have good chance to do it finally." Um, and mm, actually, I wouldn't say we are the best team, but maybe I mean we have some issues that people know we have. I'm pretty sure Andromeda and Global know our issues, and they always work on that. And we're trying to fix it step by step. And sometimes it works, sometimes it don't work. I don't know,
Yeah.
but I think we are really constant, and that's our strength.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good strength to have compared to the up and down nature of Global and Andromeda this season. But one big change we did see was that blue ticket guns were all of a sudden just allowed. What did you think about this rule change, like potentially happening? And when it did happen, like, did you think it was good? Did it help you guys, or did it help Global potentially get these first place wins?
Actually, I think it was really awesome for us in the way that Desmodus was allowed, and as well as the Grey Smokes and Kraken. I would say Desmodus and Kraken and Grey Smoke are actually the three best things to counter scopes.
Yeah.
So against Global, which used two scopes, is just awesome. I mean, it was just awesome for us. I think we didn't use announce the Grey Smoke properly against them, by the way. That maybe that we could have won if we had done it better. But the death mode is, I mean, me and Dodi Pren were just so confident with the DM and doing good with it, and because our gameplay of like trying to outsmart people, back rip, and all that kind of stuff I mean, it's like you have a rifle while you're running super fast, and
Yeah.
it gives you so much more possibility to work with 2 pointments and to push on the long range and stuff, and you can still kill people with a rifle. It's
Yeah.
really crazy on part. So it was really good for us actually.
Yeah, so we're heading into the final 8 Point Cup. There was a lot of fear actually when we first started this whole AWC season that there would only be one or two teams that would be in contention. No way possible for a third team to actually have any
Yeah.
chance. But here it is, three teams in contention. It could be a three-way tie. Any one of the three teams, both like two of the three teams could go, any one of them. Um, that's a lot of pressure I think to go into this game. So what is Celsius doing to prepare for Global and Andromeda, just in broad terms?
Well, actually, I think I am under pressure since July Cup, and like trying to not show it to my mates and stuff because I have to show that I'm confident and that since I'm the leader, I have to always like show them the way and stuff. But yeah, I've been really stressing a lot, like every single day, thinking like, am I going to do it? Why did I do that mistake, that game, that round, like every kind of stuff. But actually, we knew that after the September Cup, after the July Cup, sorry, like if we just had to finish like seconds and thirds, like 2 and 3 times, we were qualified,
Mm-hmm.
and we finished second both tournaments. Our goal of the last tournament was to at least finish seconds, because we knew that if we finished second, then we only had to finish third the last tournaments. But if would have win, then we were qualified already. But
Yeah.
we didn't win, of course. But since we finished second, we knew that we don't. So we only have to finish third for the last cup. And as you know, the three contenders. I mean, we are three. So I don't see
Mm-hmm.
any other team that could beat us. I don't want to say we are qualified because we are not yet. But I mean, if we don't qualify to Japan, I would be super disappointed, and I couldn't be able to explain how, because it would mean that we lose to another team than Global or Andromeda, while we always finish second or first during all the tournaments.
Yeah. Well,
So
that,
yeah,
that that leads into a good question about the whole format. I mean, it's 7 months long. You get points for each cup. Did you like the point distribution? Did you like the format, like for how long it is? Do you think it had good impact on the scene? Like, just your overall thoughts.
well, I was really happy with it because it was a way to keep the teams all together and stuff, and that was the main issue of AVA, of UAVA actually,
Yeah.
I would say. Um, and the only problem I would say was like the second or the third cap. I don't know why, but the winner was getting like
Plus
half
5 points.
plus 5 points compared to the others, and I was like, why? I mean, it was so weird. And actually, if this hadn't happened, I think we would be qualified already.
I
Uh,
think it couldn't be a three-way tie if that would happen, but I think you would still be in contention.
yeah, but I
So,
mean, I don't
yeah,
know why
yeah,
people got more points. I mean, there were no reason to do that, but yeah.
yeah.
The only buy point, otherwise it was just awesome. I mean, it just make us keep playing together during the all the months. We were like, yeah, we're gonna do this together from the beginning to the end. And at least when if we qualify, then we're going to do good in Japan because we practiced all together during such a long time.
Yeah.
It was pretty good in my opinion.
All right. So I asked this question to Epi the other day after he won the Red Ticket Cup. But for you, suppose Celsius qualifies, who would you want to see go? Andromeda or Global?
um,
Okay. Who would you prefer, and then who do you think will qualify? Let's make it two.
Okay. Actually, I would prefer both. No, because actually I have friends on both teams. I mean, I met in real life people in both teams. In Andromeda, I mean, they did some pretty bad stuff on the last tournament that I really didn't like the way of the behavior. So I was like really angry at them. But then Monkey joined them, and Monkey, I mean, he stayed with us the whole year as a sub, and he had some opportunities to go to other team, and he didn't. He was like, yeah, guys, I gave you my word. I was your sub. I will stay until the end. And for me, it was, I mean, who would do that? Who, knowing you're the maybe one of the 10 best players of the game, and you want to stay as a sub, knowing you're not gonna go and stuff. I mean, this guy awesome. I think we are all super happy and thankful to him. All the CSI members are really thankful to Monkey, and I'm doing the shooting now because really thank you, Enver, for all the months you stayed with us. I mean, that was really awesome. And just for that, I would like to see him in Japan. Of course, I would love to see him because for me, he deserves it as much as us since he worked with us during all that time. But on the other side, I have AP and Kroon, who I did my first trip.
Yeah.
That was maybe the most awesome memories I ever had on AVA. I loved playing with them. I loved being with them. I had a lot of fun with them. They're my friends, and I would love to see them as well. I mean, com yeah, on my feelings, I would like to have both teams, but then I think the one who's deserved it the most is Global, actually, at the moment, as we've seen, like from since July,
Mm-hmm.
only Global and Celsius are dominating the scene, and Andromeda is just falling down and doing nothing. I mean, they win against the other teams, but the other teams are so easy. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
let's say that. And they do not do anything against both of us, like nothing. And for me, actually, they deserve what they have now, at the place they have now, because they didn't practice enough. After the June Cup, they stopped practicing, and they deserve what they have right now. And I think Global would deserve to go with us.
All right. So reeling a little bit back here from our scene, but over in Asia land, for AWC, I think so far Detonator, Versuche or something, the two Japanese teams, they have qualified. I think there's one more Japanese team to qualify this weekend or maybe next weekend. And then there's Heat, Relinquish, and Azura. Those guys have qualified for AWC.
Yeah,
For Taiwan, it's AHQ. And I don't know who the other team that's qualified from
it's
Taiwan yet.
it's gonna be GPA, I think, because the
Yeah.
others. I mean, I've been watching all the league, and
Yep.
PA were just on top with AHQ against all the others.
We need to get a viewing party here because it's pretty boring watching all these games alone. But yeah, so all these teams have qualified. I mean, Detonator Heat. I mean, you'd expect them. You'd expect AHQ. What about these other teams? What do you think about the meta in Asia as well?
Um, So I would say, actually, I don't know if you noticed, but Detonator has a really big issue in Japan. I mean, I think their gameplay is like based on playing super safe, split up at the beginning, try to force the mistake from the other team, give pressure everywhere, making noise. So the guy, you make sure that the defense team is not gonna rotate or
Mm-hmm.
over rotate on the place, and then they just group together super slowly and push all together place. That's what they always do.
Yeah.
Um, Actually, I think all the Japanese team know it super well, and they counter them so well. I mean, I mean, I saw Detonator had so much troubles and were almost going to not qualify for AWC at one time.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were just losing to Requish and Sun Sister all time. Um, while actually we saw in AIC 2015, they did such an impressive tournament
Yeah.
beating beating AHQ, beating TPA, and getting in final and losing on the fifth map against Clan It, which was the favorite. I
Yeah.
mean, they did such an incredible tournament, even if they again finished second for the three last year in a row. But it at that time it was such an improvement because everyone was expecting Clan It and AHQ to dominate the competition, and Detonator arrived with two new players
Yeah.
because Mancho and Robin left, and two new players, and they still do a super good job. That was amazing. So yeah,
Yeah. I
that's what happened.
Yeah, and Korea, I think Korea is pretty much the same, I would say. I mean, it's Heat, Relinquish, and Azura there in the second and third slots.
Um,
What do you think?
the difference I would say between Japan and Korea is Japan is based about making sure that the things will work. So playing with like not much control weapons, like they play
Yeah.
with AK-47 and stuff. They make sure to hit the guy and stuff. They have like one AK-12 or something. While the Korean are just playing like always AK-12 and X95R, like all the super strong weapons and stuff. And it's pretty much based on when you kill someone, then I mean, you can pretty much win the round immediately because, I mean, even if you have any 2v4 or something, you just shoot the guy on the head and you can still do it. I mean, the AK-12 is crazy about it.
Well, that's the thing. It's like the AK-12, like 70% of players just use that gun. and now it's banned actually in the actual AWC event.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be a lot of AK-47 pacifisms and nobilities, I think, but a lot of X95Rs because I think there might be a lot of X95s because the AK-12 is banned. What do you think with like the DPS between Desmodus X95R and the 47? Like between
Uh,
those three guns, like are people gonna go more point man because that AK-12 is banned now, or are they gonna stick to that AK?
yeah, I think so. I mean, at least for us, I think we will go probably with 2 point man most of the time in
Yeah,
offense because the AK-12 counters really hard deployments, and without the AK-12, it completely changed the game. I don't know if you remember, but in the shiny time of Detonator, they were always playing with 2 point man.
yeah. A
Um,
lot of the Asian teams actually just use 2 point man already now. I think we might see. Well, I don't know if you can have three if there's that unique character rule. I don't know.
and I don't know about between Desmodus and X95R. Actually, I think I'm playing better with Desmodus, but I know that actually I think X95R is better. But the fact is, I didn't understand why during AIC 2015 nobody played it. Maybe it was not allowed, I think, because I really didn't see anyone playing it. Even the Korean team, they were playing Desmodus, while like Best, for example, the deployment of Clan 8 was playing Desmodus, while he was always playing
Yeah,
X95.
that's a
I
good
didn't,
point.
I didn't really understand, and I didn't know the rules, so maybe they didn't allow it or something. But so I don't know what to say about it. But actually, I have, yeah. A.V.A, it's a player of clients. I have it on Facebook because I met him in IF, and we were talking about Poiman and stuff because he's playing Poiman, and he told me like X95R was the gun to use actually,
Yeah.
better than the
Well, like its DPS is like the best under 10 meters. Nothing really contested except for maybe a scope.
yeah,
And
and the penetration is super hard on the
yeah,
head.
it's kind of like the Varesk back in 2012 without the '09 armor or 8 armor as well. Sort of a
Yeah,
little bit.
with less recoil.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But I think that's it. I mean, aside from people using the most in the Gaunt and Grave, I think that's it for the meta over there. In our scene, I mean, right now because of ESL, we're using the blue ticket guns. We're not really using the red ticket guns. Is that going to be a big problem for the teams that qualify and go to AWC?
Well, I think the main difference is only about some snipers because you can use like FRF2 Legend, for
Yeah,
example, and make sure to not tank any shots or something. I mean, DSR Dark Angel is pretty awesome as well. I mean,
yeah,
it's crazy good, and of course, as a pointman, it doesn't change that much because the Galaxy is not that strong compared to X95 or Desmodus. But as a
mm,
rifle, the AK Lion, I didn't have time to practice it a lot yet. But once we qualified, if we do, I think I will practice it a lot to see if there is a difference between the AK. But I think it does because everyone is playing the AK Lion when they can.
yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, I think that's it for the competitive side of stuff here. So I think we're gonna look at the European region here for a while. Um, you were playing while EG was doing stuff in the game. You said you were around in 2010. Why weren't you competing in any of the cash tournaments back then?
I didn't even know there were cash tournaments,
Oh,
so
okay, okay,
I was like super beginner of the game, and I
all
didn't.
right.
I think I was just playing for fun at the beginning. I don't know anything about it.
All right. Well, you were around for the EG to area transfer. There was a little bit of change. I think there was like just more virtual prizes from area as we within like the first 2 months and stuff like that. Do you think area has improved the competitive scene, or not so much up to your standards?
Well, I would say at the beginning it was just horrible. I remember. I mean, for me, at least, I remember at the beginning, like there were before the match ranking, there were a clan research system where you
Yeah.
can just go with your clan and you were playing against another clan. I think that was awesome because you were sure to face people that were playing together and you were playing together, so it was a really good practice. That disappeared immediately when Area arrived, so that was pretty bad, I would say. And I think, yeah, I would say it was pretty bad at the beginning when Eric gives a right about the competitive scene. Everyone stopped playing and stuff. I mean, I cannot say anything about the very beginning of EG when all the NA stars were here and stuff because I was not playing competitively at that time. So I cannot really make a difference between those two times. But I would say that now, for me at least now compared to the last period of EG when I started playing, I think now it's better. I mean, Aria like made it horrible at the beginning, but then step by step it became better, and I think now it's really nice. Yeah, I
Yeah.
would say it's very nice now.
Well, so where would you like Area to take the competitive scene, like in 2016, if you could tell them what to do?
Now putting money in the prize, of course. I mean, I'm not saying that because I always finish in the top three and I want to get money. I say that because I know that that's the way to get new players to come on AVA and play. I mean, if you see like Crossfire on this kind of game, they're so ugly that it's shit games. It's shit games. I mean, what the fuck? And so many people play it, and there is so much money on it. On any tournament, there is cash prize, and we don't have it on AVA. What? I mean, why would people change from their game where there is cash prizes to another game, even if it looks better, even if the gameplay, team play, everything is better? They're not gonna go if there is no money because they have money on their own game.
Well, interesting to note that there's like 12, 15 teams with ex-AVA players that are playing SF2 or the skill thing, or whatever they call it in Europe, on ESL. And I don't know, it's a pretty striking difference that AVA can almost be as big as skill is on some of the cups, but still no cash prizes. So it's pretty interesting. Um, but aside from that, I mean, AWC 2016, if it happens, what would you change with it compared to what we had this year?
Um,
Aside from putting cash prizes in each cup and stuff like that.
Yeah, out of that, first of all, the rules has to be clear from the beginning to the end. I mean,
Yeah,
there are so much. I mean, but I understand because it was the first time, even for area. I mean, they were not used to it, so it's normal that they did some mistakes. But all the rules has to be fixed at the beginning and follow it from the beginning to the end, and everything has to be clear so everyone know what to do and prepare. And it has to be said way before because I remember like we could subscribe to we could do the registration for AWC like 1 or 2 weeks just before it starts. It was
yeah,
like super fast. I mean, people have to be warned like 3 months before something. So people start to because it's 7 months based, but if the teams see it like 2 weeks before it starts and they start playing together only at that time,
yeah.
then you can make sure that for the 2 or 3 first tournament, then they're not gonna go good, of course. I mean, look at global. I mean, even if they change players, I mean that's a good example. They were
Yeah,
always
that's a
fine.
good example. Yeah,
After some time, then they got better and they started doing good. If they had knew from January that this would happen, then it would have been completely different because all the teams could have practiced like 3 months before the AWC competition starts. So everyone is ready from the beginning to the end to play as good as possible.
yeah. I definitely agree. There's a lot of issues that need to be resolved. Hopefully, we can actually do those things. But aside from that, I think that covers pretty much everything that I wanted to interview you about. Hopefully, people who watch this learn a little bit more about you and Celsia and everything you've done to the game. Are there any final thoughts you have for your fans, your teammates, and anyone else?
Yeah, I don't have really much fun, you know. I'm not Game Pass, sorry, but yeah, I will do some shootouts to all my mates from Cercia, of course. I mean, we've been working like for more than a year altogether. I know Tim and Dolly Prain for like more than 3 years. We played together. I mean, they are really a family for me. It's crazy to play with them, to still be with them. I mean, we already made T-shirts that we received, like personal assists, a T-shirt and stuff. I just love you guys, and I hope we just keep staying together a lot. Um, Shout out to AP and Kroon that I miss a lot, and I would like to see them. I hope in Japan. To Monkey as well. I mean, this fucking monkey. Like as I said, I cannot be more thankful to him that I am. I mean, he did so much for us during that 6 months, just staying with us as a sub. It was our security. Like I have no words to say how thankful I am toward him. Really, thank you, Enver. And Gravity as well, because I miss this guy, even if he's not playing anymore. I hope he was gonna come back, my lovely Croatian guy. And shout out to all the French I have been playing with during ICC and all the stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right. Well, I have one final question, and so as team leader, okay, you have this player called Dolaprane that uses an M4. What is your thoughts on that gun and that guy using the M4 for so long and actually being able to use it effectively? Like it's blows my mind.
Well, actually, it's like it's story brain. I mean,
Yeah, it is Dolaprane.
um,
Yeah.
I know he's the only one still using M4, and but I mean, it doesn't feel good, playing good with AK-47 or AK-12. I don't know. I mean, he wants to secure his gameplay.
Yeah,
With M4, you make sure that you're not gonna miss, of course,
yeah,
and it is really strong against pointman in long range, and of course, it is, I would say, the stronger gun against scopes
yeah,
because it doesn't matter if you hit on the head a scope with an AK-12 or with an M4, it's gonna kill him anyway. And that's quite a strong point. I mean, M4 has its own properties, even if it doesn't have as many advantage as AK-12 or AK-47, it has some, and he's doing pretty much good with it. So I
yeah.
mean,
I
if he
mean, if
wants
it
to,
works, right?
I'm not gonna tell him to change weapon if he wants to play with it.
All right. Well, I think that about sums it up. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for actually being the first and having enough bravery to do this.
It was I really enjoyed it as well. I mean, yeah,
Excellent.
great.
Hopefully, I'll have to get more of your team members before AWC, I hope. But I think that's it. So thanks to everyone that watched and followed through. Make sure you shout out to Sib here and the rest of Celsius. You cheer them on in AWC. And that's going to be it.
Yeah, thank you guys. Have a nice day.